Close.
Here.
Alderperson Decker.
Here.
Alderperson Heidemann.
Here.
Alderperson LaFave.
Here.
Alderperson Menzer.
Here.
Alderperson Mitchell.
Here.
Alderperson Perrella.
Here.
Alderperson Rust.
Present.
There are 10 present.
Thank you. Folks, could please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Alder Decker, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the minutes from the 8th regular council meeting held on July 21st, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All those in favor of approval of the minutes, state aye.
Aye.
Any objection? Minutes are approved. Next, confirmation of appointments, Deputy City Attorney.
Thank you. Alder Susie Bors to be considered for appointment to the Historic Preservation Board as Alder Representative. 2B Lee to be considered for appointment to the Parks, Forestry, and Marina Commission.
Thank you. Alder Decker.
I move to confirm.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's approved. City Clerk, anyone sign up for public forum?
No one this evening.
All right. Then just a few announcements on my end. This weekend we will have the 3rd annual P1 Powerboat Racing here on the shores of Lake Michigan. The city just posted several items to be of note for this program as well. This Friday, August 8th, there'll be a block party at City Green downtown beginning at 6 p.m. This block party will display powerboats and watercraft, and as well as have music, food trucks, fun, all around City Green starting at 6 p.m. Road closures in this area will be starting around 3 p.m. as well. And then Another fun event that the city will be hosting on August 9th and 10th on the Saturday and Sunday, Boats, Bites, and Brews will be taking place at King Park from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, and on Sunday, August 9th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. This event is sponsored by our friends at Three Sheeps Brewing, as well as the team at the Department of Public Works. So there'll be, again, a variety of local vendors, food trucks, music, and fun as well. So check out King Park for that program as well. Overall, the key racing will occur on Saturday and Sunday. You can check more information on race routes, race times on the city's website. Visit Sheboygan or P1 Powerboat Racing. Again, our team at Shoreline Metro will be providing modified trolley routes for pickup and drop-off at multiple locations throughout the lakeshore, from King Park to South Pier to D-Land Park to the marina in downtown, with designated stops along the way. So if you need a ride, again, check that out on the city's website. Visit Sheboygan as well for more additional information for adjusted trolley routes. Again, there'll be traffic and road closures noted throughout the weekend, primarily on Lakeshore Drive, South Pier Drive, and Broughton Drive as well. So for specific details on that, again, please check out the city's website. Obviously, this past weekend, we had one of the annual traditions in Sheboygan, celebrating Brat Days. So just want to thank everybody for coming out to Brat Days, and thanks to the JCs and all the sponsors to make it a success. So with that, those conclude my announcements for this evening, and we'll turn it over to the Finance Director, who will present the 2025 year-to-date budget report and 2026 budget outlook. Finance Director.
Good evening. Today I have a brief presentation on the 2025 year-to-date budget report, and then some fiscal factors that are coming up with the 2026 budget that is coming forth in a few weeks for all of your review. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, I'm more than happy to answer those. And if you have any follow-up questions that come up, please feel free to email me at any point in time to get clarification as well. For the budget presentation, I really am focusing on the general fund. As you may recall, the general fund is the largest fund that the city has. It covers all of the general functionality of the local government, including police, fire, public works, finance, administration, clerk's office. All of the different functions that you would expect from your local government are really housed in this fund in particular. Again, this is the largest fund. The 2025 amended budget is at $43.75 million. That is a little bit higher than 2024, of course, with expenses at about $45 million for the budget. That does come to a net loss for the year as budgeted, but that was intentional at the beginning of the year. We had planned to use fund balance for some of those one-time contingency expenses. I will say that as of the actual through June 30th, which is presented here, we are at a loss of about $883,000. Of note, there are some significant revenues outstanding, and there are also some significant expenditures that have already occurred for the entire year that were recorded at the beginning of the year. So if we look at the significant revenues outstanding, we have our August tax settlement that has not been received by the city yet. That will come in on August 20th. So that's about another $4.4 million that will be received. State shared revenue, we have a couple payments both in state shared revenue and transportation aids that come throughout the year that we'll see yet in the future here. In 2025, we get a substantial payment. It's about $10 million in October. So that will offset a big chunk of this loss that you currently see, or the fact that we're under budget for revenues at this point in time. Additionally, the water utility payment in lieu of taxes is another account that we see actually next year, but it's for this year's services. So we will do an accrual at the end of the year. This is an estimated amount for that total right now. So if we take those additional known revenues that the city will collect, we will be at approximately $40.3 million of our $43.7 million budget. So we already know that we will end up the year at least 92% of what we had budgeted. That being said, there's quite a few accounts that don't reflect either throughout the year where we do accruals, such as ambulance fees. We have some other fees like that actually get recognized at the very end of the year based on some collection numbers at the beginning of next year. So considering that we collect building inspection fees, ambulance fees, all of those municipal court fees throughout the year, I do think that we are in a pretty good spot for 2025 so far this year. If we look at the expense side, we actually do annual transfers from the general fund to motor vehicle and the IT funds. Those are our internal service charges. In order to be more efficient, we do that at one time at the beginning of the year. So for these purposes, if we take out 6 months worth of those expenses, we are at about $18.5 million, or 41% of the 2025 budget at the end of June. So with that in consideration for the year, we are doing pretty well so far this year. This detail is just those line items to show exactly where we are so far on the revenue side. Again, we're at 43.7 for amended budget revenue for 2025, and actual for 2025, we're at $19.4 million, or just about that 44%. You can see that intergovernmental revenue line, we're only at 13.3% at this moment, and that's again because we'll get that substantial payment yet in October, and we also have some transportation aid payments that we get quarterly that are not in that number. The tax line will also get to 100% as of August 20th. And those other lines, if you look at, for example, penalties and fines, licenses and permits, those types of lines, we're right about that 50% mark. So we're doing pretty well on the revenue side. If you look at miscellaneous revenue, I just want to point out we are over 100% already on that. That's because of our investment accounts. We are recognizing positive gains within those investment accounts at this point in time. So we are doing pretty well on that side currently. On the expense side, again, we're at about $20 million of that $45 million 2025 total expense budget, which is 45.17%. We do have payroll that does lag slightly, so you can see that on the salaries and fringe benefits. Fringe benefits is actually right on time when we record our payments to staff. That's the same month that it would occur. However, salaries, we have a little bit of a holdback on our payroll, so you'll see that is below the 50%, but that's going to occur because we're a couple weeks behind at all times with our payroll processing. But overall, again, we're looking pretty good on the expense side considering the 6-month mark. Any questions on general fund at this moment?
Questions so far? John?
Yeah, you estimated that on the revenue side that you expect at a minimum we'd be around 92%. Can you estimate for the expense side? Are we going to underrun, or do you have any feel for that yet, or is it just too early to give us that?
Sure, I would say we're probably pretty close. We have had a history of being under budget historically here at the city with vacancies and things in staffing levels, but we are, for example, the police department is going to be fully staffed for the first time in a couple years. So we're going to be closer to that 100% number, but I do believe we're still going to come in slightly underneath what we expected for 25.
Thank you.
Any other questions before I move on? All right. So for 2026 budget, we of course have quite a few factors that get put into our calculations, and we are very, very early in the budget stages here and what information we've received from the state and other agencies that we need. So I just want to point out the things that we do know so far. If you came to the finance or have done one of our finance trainings before, some of these terminology pieces will make sense to you, or at least ring a bell. So levy limit, we do not have our statement of changes for the net new construction. We do get that around August 15th, so we'll have a better predictor of what our levy increase could be. Of course, that is our levy limits, so that is a council decision, and Administrator Bradley will bring forward a budget utilizing a tax levy increase, but we will be adjusting that based on our information provided by Department of Revenue more towards the middle of August. Our state shared revenue, we do have expected increases for our municipal aid and our supplemental municipal aid. Back in Act 12, which was passed several years ago, there is a guaranteed increase to those funds, which was not previously given, and it's tied to sales tax increases. So it's a over 3% increase based on the approved budget for 26. So we're looking at about an increase of $411,000, almost $412,000 for just those two line items. In addition, because we have those increases in Act 12 as well, we actually have a continuation of a maintenance of effort requirement related to those dollars. So we are required to keep certain staffing levels the same in those fire and police departments. Otherwise, you get penalized in these categories. So we will take that into consideration, of course, when we do the 2026 budget as well. And lastly, on the state side, expenditure restraint program, we participate in that here at the city, which requires us to limit our increase in expenses to a certain percentage. That's usually tied, or I shouldn't say usually, it is tied to consumer indexes. So we're looking at a 2.7% increase is the anticipated expenditure restraint amount for between 25 and 2026. So again, it doesn't have the net new construction number built into that because we also get a portion of that as well to be able to increase. But based on our current indexes that we have, we'll be looking at a 2.7% increase available to us. That's not revenue, that's just allowing us to increase our expenses by that much and get a supplemental payment into the budget for doing so. On the salaries and benefits side, WRS has put out the amounts that the employers are required to contribute. So we have three categories here on the screen. Wisconsin Retirement System, for those of you that don't know, is the pension system for employees. We have required contributions on the employer side, and the employees also have a 7.2% of their salary requirement to WRS. So for general employees, which are all employees other than police and fire, which are the other two categories, is going up by 0.25%. That is to say it's not going up 0.25% in expenses, it's 0.25% of salaries. That's the increase that we need to budget for next year. So both employer and employees in that category will pay that 7.2% of salaries to the WRS pension system. We are seeing decreases in both police and fire, so about a 0.21% and a 0.41% of police and fire and decreases. You can see that their contribution rates are significantly higher than those in the general category, and that's because their rules for retirement are significantly different compared to those in the general category. Additionally, for the salary side, we have already negotiated and come to an agreement with the police unions, so they will have a 3.5% increase for 2026, and the increase for non-represented will be tied to that cost of living rate that we have for Social Security. Currently, I do believe that's at 2.6%, but that is still up for discussion as well. The fire contract did expire back in December of 2023, so we do have tentative agreement increases here on the screen, but of course that needs to be approved by council before we'll include those numbers. And then the transit contract actually expires at the end of this year too. So we will have placeholders for those contracts, but then we will have hopefully those negotiations and settlements coming soon as well. And lastly, just a few friendly reminders. The 2026 budget schedule has previously been provided to Common Council. So there are some dates on the screen here. Department heads are required to turn in their budget by the end of next week, so August 15th. I'm still in audit mode, I think, unfortunately. And then in September, we'll have that committee of the whole budget workshop. And so if you have questions, that would be a time to really ask department heads and also Administrator Bradley of the presentation that he's been providing. And then the Committee of the Whole will meet again to consider approval on October 14th, and final approval will hopefully occur by Common Council on November 3rd. Another reminder that the 2026 to 2030 capital improvement plan does get incorporated into those approval steps and is also incorporated into the budget as well. And then because it is that time of year, I just want to remind all of council that the assessment notices for 2025 have been mailed out. You may recall that we are in a revaluation contract and we're in year 4 of 5 of that. So again, if you have constituents that are having questions, the assessor's office here is great for answering questions and being able to assist those who have potential issues or concerns with their assessment letters.
That's it?
Yes.
All right, questions for Caitlin, John?
Can you go back to that slide that had the $411,000 figure? Is that the county's portion of the half-cent sales tax that they give us?
No, this is specifically coming from the state of Wisconsin, and so this is a aid that's built into the state of Wisconsin's budget. It does not go to the county at all, this portion.
Okay, so we'll still get that portion then too?
Yes, the full $411,000 will come to the city.
Okay, thank you.
Alder Perla?
First of all, thank you for the brilliant and clear presentation. And are you going to share this deck with us?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you so much.
Other questions for the Finance Director? All right, seeing none, thank you, Caitlin. All right, next we'll jump into the consent agenda, items 9 through 13. Alder Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to receive and file all reports.
Second.
Thank you. Under discussion, any discussion on the consent agenda items? Alder Bellinger.
Thank you. I have a couple questions for different items. The first item I have is item number 12 for the HR Director. I thought this was very helpful, but I would like to request that we get some additional information as part of this. And I talked with her prior to the meeting, and I'd like to see if we could get departments identified. So when we have resignations, terminations, that type of thing, that, it's identified by department, so we can kind of see and track trends by department quarterly to see if one department has an unusual high number of turnover or no turnover. Both of those would be interesting to see.
Director Hendy, any comments?
No, we certainly can do that. We can break it down by department and provide that information in the next report.
Alder Bellinger, you said you had other questions?
Yes, item 13 for the police chief. Thank you for the report. I appreciate the information. It's very helpful. There is one statistic that I found that was kind of an anomaly that I looked at, and that is the parking tickets. And I guess this was just, talked at the committee level. I wasn't at the committee for this, so, but 1,767 tickets year-to-date versus 7,075 year-to-date 2024, that's about a 5,300 difference. And I'm agnostic on parking tickets. I don't really care one way or the other. I don't get them very often, so they don't really affect me one way or the other. But I'm not saying I'm in favor of this or not, but I'm agnostic, but I just would like to know why this is such an anomaly.
Chief?
Sure, I can tell you, just for your information, the community is not agnostic about parking tickets. Parking is one of the things, it's just a hot button issue no matter which side of it you're on. So the reason that there's a big drop in numbers for this year is directly related to our network outage. So through those winter months is when we write the majority of our parking tickets as a department and as a city because of winter parking regulations. That's where the majority of our citations come from. And so it was during that time that we really were not able to utilize some of the online systems that we have that we're supposed to be able to talk to each other. We're not able to at that point. And so we were not able to conduct the same, anywhere near the same level of winter parking enforcement as in years past.
Thank you.
You bet.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. I guess. Alder Perla?
So for item 9, I was hoping that Superintendent Trueblood was here, but I was just wondering if could be just someone to speak to the health status of the water utility. Based on, of course, we can see all the accounts here and the debit and the credit and so on, but if someone can unpack that briefly, tell us the status, the health status of the water utility, I would appreciate that.
City Administrator?
So the water utility is separate from the city. They're a subcomponent, so we can make a request to the water utility board to have someone come do that if you would like.
I would like that very much. Thank you.
Great. Seeing no more discussion. Sorry, Alder Decker.
Okay. I just wanted to go back to the item 12 in John's request. I think we've talked about that in the past about, about identifying departments, and I think there is some concern about doing that, being that there is, if there's only one or two individuals leaving a department over a time, we want to still keep this confidential. These are still supposed to stay confidential things, and if only one or two people leave that department, it kind of muddies that a little bit. So there has to be some, I think, some concerns with that a little bit. So,
thank you, Alder Decker. All right, seeing no more cues, this is a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
Those items are approved. Next, item 14, resolution number 732526 by Alders Decker and Perella confirming the appointment of Quarles and Brady LLP as bond and disclosure counsel regarding the issuance of taxable general obligation lead service line replacement promissory notes in series 2025 second issue. Alder Decker.
I ask to suspend the rules.
Any objections? Hearing none, Alder Decker, please proceed with your motion.
I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded under discussion. Alder Bellinger.
For 14, 15, and 16, since I'm going to ask the same question for each one, could I get a reason why we're suspending the rules? I realize some of that was given in the packet, but just for the public information, I think it would be helpful that it was just reiterated for the public so they know why we're suspending the rules for these 3 items.
Thank you. Finance Director.
Thank you. Items 15 and 16, we actually received those documents from the state early last week, so that is the reason for suspension in order to get through the timeline in order to complete those. Number 14 is tied in with that. Quarles and Brady is the law firm that we're utilizing to assist us closing this for the water utilities debt. So altogether, it was just coming together last week.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Other discussion? Alder Prella.
For clarification, the 14th is only to authorize the payment to the councils, the $8,000 payment to the councils for the promissory notes of $165,000, correct?
Finance Director.
Resolution 14 is to appoint Quarles and Brady for debt issue counsel. However, the city will not be paying that fee. The water utility will be paying that full fee. However, because it is representing the city of Sheboygan, it needs to be approved by Common Council.
Okay, thank you.
All right, seeing no more cues, this is a roll call vote. That item is approved. Item 15, resolution number 752526 by Alders Decker and Prella, authorizing the issuance and sale of up to 165,000 taxable general obligation lead service line replacement promissory note series 2025 and providing for other details and covenants with respect thereto and approval of related 290,000 financial assistance agreement. Alder Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I ask to suspend the rules.
Any objections? Hearing none, please proceed.
I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Under discussion? Seeing none, Alder Prella.
So in this case now, we are approving the issuance of $165,000 for taxable general obligation lead service line replacement promissory notes, which are part of $290,000, correct?
Finance Director.
Yes, this is related to lead service line replacement. The city is required to assist the water utility in this instance issuing this debt in order to get the full amount from the state. So the $165,000 is what is getting issued. However, that will be paid again by utility customers in the water utility.
Okay. Thank you.
Seeing no more discussion, this is a roll call vote. That is approved. Next, item 16, resolution number 762526 by Alder Decker Prella, authorizing the appropriate city officials to execute the Department of Natural Resources Principal Forgiveness Financial Assistance Agreement regarding DNR project number 4901-14. Alder Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I ask to suspend the rules.
Any objections? Hearing none, Alder Decker, please proceed.
I move to adopt the resolution.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Under discussion? Alder Prella.
Yes, now, this was confused me because, so here we are basically receiving money, 3 million from the DNR, and those 165 that we approved with number 15 are part of the 3 million? No, they are two different, completely different things, but they go towards the same service or not?
Finance Director.
That is correct. So both of these items are for that lead service lateral replacement program. There are two financial agreements with the state because I'm not exactly sure why they split it up the way they did. However, it's been labeled as two different projects. So there's two different financial assistance agreements. This one in particular in front of you for this resolution is $3 million, and that's fully expected to be forgiven by the state. So it's a loan, but it is principal forgiveness on there.
Just a brief follow-up. Are we going to pay, so the principal is forgiven, but do we pay interest on that or it's completely forgiven?
My understanding is that it's completely forgiven.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no more discussion, this is a roll call vote. All right, that's approved. All right, next resolution, item 17, resolution number 712526 by Alder Mitchell and Prella, amending the 2025 budget for various expenses incurred or planned. Alder Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Under discussion. Alder Bellinger.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have one question regarding the first item, and that was for the stump grinding of $20,000. I'm just wondering why that, if there's a carryover from 2024 into 2025, why that is, or why that's being carried over, why that wasn't used last year, because we certainly don't have any shortages of stumps to grind. And as a side note, I would just like to state that Bruce, the stump grinder, did visit my house today and did a fantastic job and ground out the stump. It was a significant stump, and then did the cleanup. It was fantastic. The city came around shortly thereafter, filled it in with dirt and seeded it, and it looks awesome. So I just want to compliment the DPW department for the work that they're doing. It was very efficient, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, who wants to take the first half of the question? Finance Director?
And I'm bringing up an email from our city forester because he brought forward this budget amendment. So the DNR Inflation Reduction Act actually had this funding for $86,116 to be spent specifically on stump grinding. We were able to get pricing way lower than anticipated, so we have additional funds to do more. So that's why we didn't have the funds completely spent in 2024. We're requesting to bring that forward in order to utilize the rest of that grant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no more cues, this is a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
That is approved. Next, item 18, resolution number 722526 by Alders Mitchell and Prella, authorizing an amendment to the 2025 budget for the purchase of the aforementioned parcel numbers from Claire A. Gartman. Alder Mitchell.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Under discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Ten ayes.
All right, that is approved. Next, item 19, resolution number 742526 by Elders Decker and Rust, vacating a .03 acre portion of right-of-way on the east side of North 5th Street adjacent to Lot 1, Block 5 of the assessment subdivision number 21 of the city of Sheboygan, Sheboygan County, Wisconsin. And that will be referred to Public Works. All right, next meeting, August 18th. We've exhausted the agenda. Alder Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned at 6:33. Thanks, everyone.